What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest channel and podcast. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So let's get into this podversation. I wanted to talk about this viral story about Neyo and his wife, that they've split after 8 years of marriage, and how Neyo is pleading for privacy after his wife, Crystal, pretty much put him on blast on social media for claims that he cheated, not just recently, but cheated on her for 8 years. And the reason I wanted to talk about this was because of seed sowing. And I really don't get it when it comes to people. I get it. Some people do not believe in the Bible. I get it. Some people don't even believe in God. They don't believe in a higher power. They don't understand it. It's not something they can see, feel, touch, understand. So they don't believe it. And so, everyone has the right to their beliefs. I'm never here to force what I believe on anyone else. But what I will say is that whether people believe in a higher power or God or the Bible or the Word of God or whatever, one of the things that people cannot deny is that sowing and reaping exists, and it is a principle that will never die as long as the earth exists. And the Bible even says, as long as the earth exists, that there is going to be seed time and harvest time. And what that essentially means is that it's not just about the physical seeds that people plant in order to grow a crop of corn or collard greens or whatever they're growing or trying to grow, because we get it. There are also going to be seasons where your crops may not be as bountiful as other times. That all plays into weather, but that's talking about the natural versus the spiritual and the things that we can't see. And when the Bible talks about planting seeds and reaping a harvest, sowing seeds, reaping a harvest, it is definitely talking about the physical, but it's also talking about the spiritual as well. And so many people just don't understand that what we sow, we are going to reap. And you're going to reap it whether it's on, like some people say, the front end or the back end. And when it comes to that saying front end or the back end, when it comes to the actions that we take, which are the seeds that we sow that are going to reap the harvest of those seeds that we planted, that sometimes can harvest in your life, or it may harvest in your children's lives, or it may harvest in your children's children's lives, but it is going to happen. And if you truly love your offspring, I'll just put it like that, you have to be really careful of the actions that you take. And this story comes from the Sandra Rose blog, and it says Neyo is back on the market after his wife, Crystal Renee Smith, put him on blast for cheating on her again. The R&B singer and songwriter previously broke up with Crystal in February 2020. She scrubbed all images of him from her Instagram page and later accused him of cheating. This time, Crystal provided more details and said she is done with Neyo and his cheating ways. And Crystal and Neyo recently renewed their wedding vows after 8 turbulent years of marriage. And again, this comes from the blog. I'm not quoting this because I don't follow them and I don't know everything about their personal lives. But it says, goes on to continue to read, Crystal connected on an emotional level with other long-suffering wives when she said she was heartbroken and disgusted over Neyo's rampant cheating over the past 8 years. In her lengthy post, Crystal made sure to specify that her husband cheated with women. And I found that honestly a little bit comical that the blogger put that there, but that's neither here nor there. It is what it is. And she put, and I quote, 8 years of lies and deception, 8 years of unknowingly sharing my life and husband with numerous women who sell their bodies to him unprotected, every last one of them. And she added that Neyo was a narcissist who expected her to stay at home with their kids and accept that men cheat. So it sounds like he was listening to Kevin Samuels. I'm sorry. I just had to put that in there because, again, I don't follow Kevin Samuels, but the clips of the things that I heard, and listen, I don't care if it was just clips, it's what he believed, that if you are a man of a certain caliber and, like he used to say, a high value man, then if you get the opportunity to be with a man like this, then they have options and you just have to accept it. And I just think it's bullcrap. But again, I'm going to continue with what she said. To say I'm heartbroken and disgusted is an understatement. To ask me to stay and accept it is absolutely insane. The mentality of a narcissist, I will no longer lie to the public or pretend that what is happening isn't. I choose me. I choose my happiness and health and my respect. And so here's the thing. She has 3 children with him, and he has 2 children from his previous relationship. Not a marriage. He was in a relationship with a woman by the name of Monyetta Shaw, who has been recently shown on this most current season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know much about her, but from what I've seen, I like her. She's married. She's moved on with her life. And I'm extremely happy for her because the stories that we heard about their relationship back in the day was that they had the 2 children. Neyo convinced her to get her tubes tied and to, that was to prevent her from having other children because he didn't want to have any more children. And then he was cheating on her with what I believe was multiple people. And one of the people just happens to be Crystal, who he wound up marrying. And I'm going to read a few of the comments from the Sandra Rose blog because, to be honest, they made me laugh. So I just maybe thought I would just share it with you and see if you want to laugh at it. One person wrote in their comment, they wrote what Gonzo wrote. So they're basically calling Crystal Gonzo. I'm sorry, it's funny. And the comment says, I gained 3 beautiful children out of this, but nothing else but wasted years and heartache. And the person also wrote what Gonzo meant by what she wrote. And it is, I gained 3 lucrative sources of income out of this, and the money I will receive from spousal and child support was worth the wasted years and heartache. Now, honestly, that when I read it initially, it made me laugh because one, it was just for them to write what Gonzo wrote. So they're pretty much calling her a Muppet. But at any rate, everyone is entitled to their opinions. I didn't say it. This was what someone wrote in the comment section of the Sandra Rose blog. So if you want to read the comments and know that I'm not lying, you can go to sandrarose.com and look up this entry, this article, this blog post about Neyo and his wife splitting after 8 years of marriage. And you will see the comment in the comment section. I didn't make it up. Another person wrote, hey, I don't mean to kick an ex-side chick when they're down, but honey pie, you were a part of the team that tried to paint Monyetta as crazy, bitter, and a, quote, in all caps, really good friend who had given him 2 children. You were a part of that team. Stay here while I go to see what I have in my F's to give account. Appears to be empty, and then they have a gif of someone pulling out their pockets and the pockets are empty. Those are just a few of the comments, but to be honest with you, I remember stories from the past about Monyetta and this new person that he moved on with and how she agreed to have her tubes tied because he made her feel some sense of security. I am quite sure. Monyetta, she doesn't seem like the type that would have done such a medical move that could be irreversible if she didn't feel that they were going to pursue the relationship and move forward in the relationship eventually and essentially leading to marriage, as well as her loving this man. Because I don't see a woman like herself who had already had a few children with this man and continuing to be in what she thought was a relationship with him doing something like this medically. I really don't. But here's what I wanted to talk about. Again, sowing and reaping, and how it is really amazing to me how some people forget that the seeds that you sow, they are going to reap a harvest. And it had been reported in the past. So this isn't something that just came up and people are just saying it. It was reported in the past that Crystal was one of the chicks that Neyo was being unfaithful to Monyetta with. And he just, for whatever reason, I don't know, decided to ask her to marry him, and he did. And they've stayed together all of these years. Now, some of the pictures that I saw on the Sandra Rose blog of Crystal, she really looked rough. I am not saying that every woman doesn't have their day of looking that way, because I am quite sure that every woman can relate to that. Not every woman is photo finish ready, the paparazzi ready, and you know, in all aspects of their day. I absolutely understand that. But when it comes to this situation and Neyo responding, asking for privacy during this difficult time, and people respecting his family and his children, he didn't respect his family or his children. I'm not saying that other people shouldn't respect him in terms of what his requests are, but honestly, people are going to do what they want to do, just like he did what he wanted to do. So he can't fault bloggers or commenters on social media for commenting on something that his wife put out there. Even though she said she's completely done with him, they're still married at this point. They're not divorced. So she still has to deal with the fact that they are married. And she chose to put it out there on social media. She could have quietly dealt with this situation, and then it just came out that they were divorced. And to be honest with you, I'm quite surprised that someone who was allegedly having relations with Neyo while he was in a relationship with someone else, albeit not married. We get it. He and Monyetta were never married, but he was in a relationship with this woman, and she came for Monyetta allegedly in some ways regarding those situations. So Monyetta took the high road. She was honestly, more so than some people understood, showing humility and not coming for her or him. And she even appeared with them on a talk show talking about co-parenting and, being civil for the sake of the children and all that BS that Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys and that other woman, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name at the moment, but the mother of the children that Swiss Beats had previously to Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats allegedly having they weren't married, but extra relational affairs. I'll put it like that. And this other woman coming out and letting us know that, yeah, Alicia Keys is trash, and she was having relations with my boyfriend / father of my children, and I'm not happy about it. But later on, they tried to come out, and, she wrote a book, and they talked about how they go on vacations together and they're civil and all these other things, which, to be honest, I feel, yeah, it is about the children. Children should be put first. But how many relationships are really going to be like that? It is most of the time unrealistic, and because most of those situations didn't circle around a civil atmosphere. The man was either unfaithful in the relationship, or the woman was unfaithful, or both parties were unfaithful. So there are bitter feelings there. And yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the children, but because the parents, the adults, are the ones that are in charge, it is very rare that they can put their beefs and their personal feelings to the side for the sake of the children and not do things or say things that are going to be harmful to the children in some way, shape, or form. So this thing about going on vacations together and whatnot, it is very, very unrealistic, especially when we know that a lot of relationships, when it comes down to situations like this, we're not talking about people who are wealthy. We're not talking about celebrities. We're talking about your everyday Joe Blows and the chicks that are having the babies and the guys that are responsible for paying child support and maybe get some visitation rights or whatever. A lot of these people aren't even going on vacations, let alone going on vacations together. But Crystal, yeah, she's going to get the support of those that like her and the encouragement and all of those different things like that. But when it comes to her going through this situation, it sounds like she really didn't know if what is said is true regarding her being with Neyo when he was already in a relationship with Monyetta. She wasn't cognizant of the law of sowing and reaping. You reap what you sow. And like they always say, the same way you get them is the same way you lose them. And there apparently, Neyo must have some issues where what she is reporting, we don't know if this is fact. So this is all alleged. But what she is saying is that he was cheating on her repeatedly for over 8 years and also paying women who charge for sexual favors. You're a multimillionaire. You are famous. You are a celebrity. There are some people out there, even though we know everybody needs to take care of their responsibilities and pay their bills and maybe even want to have an upgraded lifestyle, there are some people out there that are not paid escorts or paid prostitutes that would have been willing to go there with him. And they would probably want something nice out of it, but in terms of, okay, this is my fee for going there, it's absolutely crazy. So that, to me, showcases some mental issues, if that is really the case, if that is really true. I don't know, but this is what she's alleging, so I'm responding to what she's alleging. I'm just giving my thoughts. I'm being beautifully honest about what she shared, and based on the situation where it involves her even getting into a relationship with him and ultimately marrying him and staying with him for over 8 years, there is a lot there that we can unpack. I don't have the energy or time or even want to unpack all of it. But what I will say is that hopefully if these things are true about the past and how she got with him, she will understand that there is such a thing as the law of sowing and reaping. You are going to reap what you sow. And that's why I just read a couple of comments from the blog that I got this story from, but a lot of people are going in on her in the comment section because apparently this is allegedly something that really did take place years ago and how she got with him. And I have to say, I want her to have a sense of sanity, especially for the sake of the children that she has to take care of. But I would say I'm Team Monyetta, because when it comes to people doing people wrong and doing them dirty, I don't revel and cheer and celebrate when people ultimately get what's coming to them. But it gives me hope that when you do the right thing and when you are wronged, that those wrongdoing parties will eventually get what is coming to them and they will reap what they sow. And so if this is what we call karma, if this is what we call reaping the seeds of what was planted, then I would say that to, Crystal, you're reaping what you've sown. Again, I don't wish any harm on the woman. I don't know her, never will know her. But we have to be careful about how we move in life, and the seeds that we sow, they are going to reap a harvest. And so, in my opinion, it seems like this woman has been suffering in silence for 8 years. He filed for divorce previously. I don't know what happened to cause him to cancel it. I know we were going through the pandemic at that time. So he may have been seeing people drop like flies. And I believe I actually did do a previous conversation speaking about that. I just don't remember a whole lot of what I said at the time, to be honest with you. But again, I'm not reveling and cheering about the situation, but I am a person that really loves to see people reaping what they have sown. And if she sowed the seeds of discord, breaking up a relationship, having the nerve to try to justify the situation and make it seem like it was right. I have said this over and over again. It doesn't matter how long it is allowed to continue to move forward and you look like you're winning. You can build and build and build and build and build and build. Let's use a skyscraper, for example. You can build and you have to build. We know from the bottom up, foundation has to be, placed, and then you build on top of that, and you just continue to build up and up and up and up. All of that takes time. It takes so much time to do that. But all it takes is one moment for someone to push that plunger for that skyscraper to come crashing down. That's all it takes. That is all it takes. So when I see people getting their comeuppance and they reap what they've sown, again, I don't celebrate in it, but it lets me know that it is a real thing. And I try to be more cognizant of and aware of what I'm putting out there, and knowing that those who have wronged me, they're going to get what's coming to them. Long or short, they're going to get what's coming to them. So I am really, really just wanting to discuss this situation from the standpoint of you reap what you sow, and you have to be extremely careful about the seeds that you plant, not trying to justify the evil seeds that you plant, because when you reap that negative, evil harvest, you want people to feel sorry for you. And unfortunately, a lot of people are just not feeling it for her. They're not. So I would love to know what you guys think about this. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until the next time, this is Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest.